We are live from Contact in the Desert.
Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985. You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Welcome. Contact in the Desert 2018. Give it up. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. Today is Friday, June 1st, 2018. 151 days into the new year. Just 214 days left. We are live, not from a bunker in downtown Burbank, but from the Renaissance Resort here in Palm Springs, California. Give it up, everybody. Let's go. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Let's go. This is... All right, so tonight we are live from Contact in the Desert 2018, the largest, biggest, bestest, funnest UFO conference in the entire world. We've got about 5,000 people here, and it's only Friday, right? Can you guys imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow? It's going to be absolutely nuts. We've got a packed house tonight, and you know what's really great? This is what we're going to do, and I'm going to get to everything as quick as I can. We're going to bring through every 15 minutes 2 guests like we do every single year. Last year, I believe the year before, Clyde Lewis, who is sitting to my left, we'll introduce Clyde in a second, started off the show with me for the last 2 years. But I want a big round of applause before we get to Clyde. Sitting over on the far left is Chuck Fay, all the way from Hong Kong. Everybody say hi to Chuck. Chuck, along with Clyde and myself, Chuck is a radio host and over in Hong Kong, and his show MJ13 is the biggest thing over there. And Chuck and I have been friends for a while now, but to have 3 radio hosts sitting up in front of you to kick off this show that are friends shows you the unity in the community that is unique. I just want to say really quick before I get to Clyde, Chuck Fay, welcome to the show. I've got you muted, Chuck. Now say that all again.
Say that what?
Yeah, now you can say hello.
Oh, hi, hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you so much.
And everybody, Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero.
Thank you all. I'm glad to see so many people here tonight. That's great, especially for Jimmy. He's amazing. Thank you.
You know, Clyde, and you and I talk about this every year.
Yeah.
You have been doing this for a very long time, and iHeartRadio premiere, national syndication. You've interviewed everybody that is important to this community. You're here now for the last few years at Contact in the Desert.
Yeah.
But you and I are friends, and I like to say to everybody that what they need to understand is we're not competitors. we're friends, and we both host the biggest shows in the country.
We really do. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing, is that we're like brothers in arms, and that's kind of rare for this type of thing because a lot of people are fighting and divided. And Jimmy and I have had a friendship now for a few years, and it's quite the friendship. We share audience, we share ideas. We're both cutting edge, and I think it's time to do that because no one wants to be lulled to sleep. They want to know the truth. They want to be woke up. So I think we wake up people pretty well.
Clyde, you're one of the best, and I do want everybody to give Clyde a round of applause. His show is amazing.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you this, Clyde.
Sure.
The community has been seeing this uptick of disclosure in ufology, certainly since December 2016. But as a radio host, this is something that you've been calling for many, many, many years. Is it here? Do you call this disclosure, or is it something different to you?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for disclosure. If you want the Pentagon Papers and the investigation into UFO since 2007 disclosure, we have it already. If you want money set aside for, they're setting, $10 million aside for 2 years now to investigate broadcasts from space, then yes, we have disclosure. That's government money set aside. They've taken it from climate change, climate science, they're putting it into space and examining whether or not aliens exist. I think that's a pretty big disclosure. I don't think you're going to have the president come out and say aliens are landing or aliens are here, but we first had confirmation about 2 years ago. So with confirmation now comes the unraveling of the programs that the government's been involved with investigating. I'm also right now very enthused about the fact that science is now changing the paradigm. They're looking into consciousness now. They're looking into resonant frequencies now. Panpsychism. I can't believe they're talking about panpsychism. For those of you who don't know what panpsychism is the idea that everything has a consciousness, including the universe. The earth has a consciousness.
Right.
Rocks and trees and grass and everything has a consciousness. And so I think one of the reasons why, though, they want to look for consciousness is because they're moving into a realm with AI and artificial intelligence where they're going to use it somehow to monitor consciousness. Already we are in the throes of algorithms pretty much putting us in a position where, believe it or not, they're controlling us. We're not controlling them, and we need to get a handle on that now. That's our biggest threat. Our biggest threat are algorithms. Ever since 2001, these computers and bots and everything in between, they've been creating a view towards the extremism in the world. Everything you see on the internet, everything you see on Facebook is based on extremism. We don't have thoughtful or critical thinking or social cohesion. So we need to have a civil responsibility to bring that back. Now, while science is busily giving us information about what's out on planet Earth, we're all caught up in scandals. The mainstream news is all about scandals. It had nothing to do with what's really going on. The sky's not the limit anymore. For those of you that wonder, the snicker factor is gone. We're here, and it's important we're here because we all know now that science is on our side. Most of the scientists are on our side now.
Clyde, I could not agree with you more. It's one of the most exciting parts. And I know that I say this all the time, but it's so important. Once one of those dominoes falls, it doesn't matter whether it's the UFO question or parallel worlds or consciousness or quantum theory, quantum mechanics, any one of those things, it all falls in our favor, and it's all connected.
Well, it's all about multiverse now. It's not just outer space. It's multiverse. It's the idea that we have overlapping universes. We have ultra-terrestrials as opposed to extraterrestrials. Sure, we have extraterrestrials out there, ultra-terrestrials. And the new thing, which I talked about in my presentation this morning, is alien contagion, which is something that's a little scary for everybody because we're finding out that out there in space are life forms, and they're little life forms, and they live on the space station, and they get scraped off every once in a while, and they're brought back by Russian astronauts. We found that Surveyor 3 had Streptococcus mitis on it. It was there for 3 years on the moon and was taken back and still living. We have minor life forms, small life forms. Hello. We have small life forms that are being found in Antarctica right now that are giving scientists enthusiastic views on whether or not Enceladus and Europa have life because they are geothermally heated. They're iced, but they're heated, and they may have the same type of creatures living there as they live in Antarctica. And they're reconsidering whether or not an octopus is really an alien life form.
That was the best press release probably, it maybe in human history, was the octopus. Let me get over to Chuck. Thank you.
You bet.
Clyde Lewis.
You bet.
Chuck Fay. Chuck Fay, all the way from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Right here. Chuck, Hong Kong, China, disclosure. Is it the same thing over there? What are you guys talking about?
Okay, I cannot answer as fast as he can.
That's Clyde Lewis, man.
Okay.
But you do need to speak into the microphone.
No, another guy just met me today. Oh, he met me the other day, today, and he said, "Are you the guy who picked up English from watching Lethal Weapon?"
Yeah, that's right.
He doesn't remember. Anyway, I try my best to answer. Yeah, say that again, the questions?
Disclosure, UFO disclosure in China, is it the same as what we've been talking about over here in the mass media?
As far as I know, not that
Why?
close. No, because people are still, like last year I mentioned, people are still staying the level asking, are UFO real? Are alien real? So my job is to bring the information from here and let them know, okay, actually, in the other place, in the other countries, people are talking about the interactive of human being an alien. But we should, as a Hong Kong people, we shouldn't stay into the level like you're still asking, are UFO real? I saw something like that. Is that UFO? But it end up is a thing with contrail.
Yes, but I think the more important question is when we had CNN and BBC and Fox showing the gun camera footage and the New York Times and the way that it was picked up in the mass media, did China jump in on that?
Yeah, in Hong Kong we have...
You did?
We have newspaper reportages.
Right.
We have press reports. But I think it's pretty much like in the States. After the report, people...
Go ahead, Clyde.
I'm anxious to ask you a question because I'm a fanboy of his.
He's the best.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Chinese space program, better than ours right now, from what I understand. And can you talk about, I think it's either Patagonia or Tierra del Fuego, the Chinese space station listening in for alien broadcasts? Because I was reading about that.
He's got to go home. You don't want to have, the Chinese secret police showing up at his parents' house.
Well, they built, from what I understand, they built a listening station in Argentina.
They did.
President Obama went and visited there. He also went to Antarctica to find the aliens,
let me see
too.
how to answer that.
Okay.
Well, they have the biggest, not the biggest in the world right now.
That's right.
The telescope. What I asked some of the, some of the people, senior people who study UFO before me, and I asked them whether they have more chances or more easier to get the signals from space, from the alien. One of the guy who is work quite close to the government, and he answered me is, okay, it's not my answer, okay? That is the answer he gave me is, they may have the technology, but they need to have the skill.
Oh.
So I don't know whether they have the skill yet.
But they have the telescope.
They have the telescope.
And they are doing the monitoring. Listen, really quick, as loud as you can do it, give it up for Clyde Lewis and Chuck Fay. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Clyde. I love you, man. Chuck Fay. Okay. Don't stop clapping, because coming up to the stage right now, Billy Carson and Brien Foerster. Come on up. Thank you, guys. How cool is it? Billy Carson is in the house, everybody. Billy Carson. Brien Foerster, all the way from Peru. Brien Foerster. So, Contact in the Desert, your first time, Billy. Is this like the most insane thing you've ever seen?
This is incredible. I'm really excited about the open arms and how everybody is really taking me in. And it's my first time here. I've been to the Conscious Life Expo, and I've seen something here, but this is something a little bit different. And everybody here is really in tune with what's going on in this arena, and I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to coming back.
What is it like? You can applaud. You have literally hundreds of thousands of followers. You have embraced the lost civilization, hidden truth, hidden knowledge, hidden everything aspect of this community, and to have that tied in with the technology of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and what you do, and you have amassed, are you up to 1 million and a half?
Well, if you add up all the groups and all the social media accounts now, it's almost 3 million people.
3 million people from this community. I mean, right?
Yeah.
You know, and what does that tell you, Billy? That the thirst for knowledge and trying to get answers, because we have basically been lied to and twisted through the education system. Yeah. And you are here. Not only are you a successful basketball coach, I don't know if you guys know this. Who knows this? Applaud. You know, you can't raise your hand. Okay, we'll do that for another time. But you are known in the community to have this many people come at you for forbidden knowledge. Mm-hmm. They want the answers, don't they?
The people want the information. What I found was when I first started this whole project was that people were secretly wanting to get into this kind of information or have a spokesperson, a person that can speak for them or say things that they've always thought about but were afraid to say. And even what I find still today, a lot of people that follow my accounts will actually follow the accounts, follow the posts, even though they may not click the like button.
Right.
But they're going in, they would send me direct and private messages, a lot of famous people telling me that they appreciate my content. They can't click the like button, but they like what I'm putting out, and please don't stop.
Right. Well, now, what's great about having you and Brien on together is the both of you, Brien, I'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
The both of you are hands-on. Yeah. It's one thing to make a comment or write a book or create a video, and you're pulling from other research, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But you guys go out to specific sites around the world, and you are touching these megalithic rocks and these sites and picking up on the vibe, and then coming back and commenting on it. Yeah. You just got back from Cambodia.
Cambodia, correct.
Just got back from Cambodia. Yeah. Now, you're at Angkor Wat, right?
Yes.
Impressive?
Unbelievable. Everybody has got to go to Angkor Wat once in their lifetime. You have to take that trip. It's an amazing place. I mean, I actually picked up a lot of this want or need to go out and see the field from Brien Foerster. Believe it or not, he's like one of my biggest inspirations, to be quite honest with you.
Thank you.
I've been following you for such a long
Brien
time.
Is the best. Brien is the best.
And I said to myself, I've got to duplicate what this man is doing, and I've got to reach out to the younger crowd. And so that's what I've kind of done. And the reason why my following has kind of really gotten so big is because I've reached out to the crowd that kind of can relate to me, the younger crowd, even though I'm a grandfather. But still.
What? You don't look but 25.
Yeah, I'm almost 50.
Wow.
But yeah, plant-based. But they've taken me in, and now I've got these young kids sending me copies of passports. I'm going here, Mr. Carson. I'm going there, Mr. Carson. We're traveling, and when you're going to do another group trip, and can you make a trip to Egypt? So I did a trip to Egypt now, coming in 2019. And, so it's getting out there in the field, being in Cambodia, touching the stones, walking through these megalithic structures, getting blessed by priests and Buddhists and everything else. It's a life-changing experience that you just can't get from looking at pictures on Google.
Brien, when you go out and you are doing the same thing, you are out looking at these megalithic sites, but we are starting to get answers from you and Billy and John Anthony West, who is not here this year, who just recently passed away. But we are starting to acquire this alternative research, which is turning into the mainstream. But the question that I have right now for everybody in this room, How close are we to finally shutting down the man?
We're getting very close. The internet is a phenomenal tool, and I just discovered YouTube Live.
We were just doing it YouTube Live outside.
Which is amazing. I mean, that is spontaneous, and that message is gone. Like, there is no filter to it. That's what's profound about it. But it's, I like to do tours because I attract people from a diverse backgrounds. We usually wind up with at least one engineer and one stonemason, and it's their opinion I want to hear. Like, you see, we can't fit a human hair in this joint. Is this possible using our technology today? And I say, no, it's theoretically possible. So already that's telling you there were civilizations in the past more advanced technically than us, using forms of technology where you have to literally step out of the box and say, is this, how would you possibly do it if you had unlimited resources and consciousness? That's what we're looking at.
You've been everywhere. Certainly the walls of Cusco in Peru are about as impressive as anything on this planet. Right. We have Giza, we have Pumapunku, Göbekli Tepe, all these phenomenal sites. For you, which one is the most significant megalithic site that best represents a high technology civilization?
Well, again, the whole key...
No, don't say Peru because you live there. No. Say Peru because you mean it.
No, the whole key is opportunity. So you don't go to the government and ask permission because they'll say no or they'll delay you by a long time, as in the DNA results of the Paracas people, elongated skulls, which I will be giving in totality tomorrow morning, because I got the results before the government got the results.
Right.
I had to, the data came to me, then it went to the government. So there's no possibility of covering up. But the greatest thing was I heard, we just did a tour in March in Egypt, and Patricia Awian, our person there, she said, they've just opened up the Osiris shaft. That was in November of last year.
Right.
That hasn't been open to the public in 100 years. So I said, I don't care what it costs. So we booked the Osiris shaft for 2 hours, 30 of us.
How big is it?
Well, you go in sideways, and then you look down, and you take a ladder down 30 feet, and the room is 30 feet by 45 feet. Then you look down, you take a ladder down another 100 feet. This is in the solid bedrock.
That's right.
With the machine marks on the walls.
So it is, in fact, 10 stories deep.
It's 3 so far. So it's 30 feet, 100 feet, and then 60 feet down. And it's crystal clear water in the bottom.
Right.
The second level has 6 niches and 2 boxes. I don't call them sarcophagi because they were not sarcophagi.
Right.
They're much bigger than normal.
Right.
One of them had an internal explosion happen to it.
Shut up.
And the other one has this mysterious black goo that stuck to the surface.
Okay, wait. Let's back up the bus here.
Yeah.
Okay. No, what do you mean internal explosion?
Well, literally, it looks like the box blew up from inside. And it's made of granite, and the other box is made out of a material called dacite, which isn't even found in Egypt. And when we go in April, because we're going back, I'm going to take a sample of this goo and see if it's organic or not. It literally looks like...
Is it the infamous black goo?
No, honestly, I think what these structures were, like these large boxes,
right,
as well as the Serapeum, if you've heard of them, they were chambers for the builders to rest in, to re-energize. Mm-hmm. And I think that when there was a cataclysm 12,000 years ago, the whole system was overloaded with energy, and the occupants blew up inside the boxes.
We only have a couple of minutes left. I want to get back to Billy, but sure. Do you think that is more impressive for other reasons than the Giza Plateau?
Well, again, the whole thing about it is opportunity. I've been looking at drawings of this since I was a kid, and they opened it up in November. It cost $2,000 to go inside, but we took 30 people.
Right.
So I just said we have to go because tomorrow they could lock the door again. Right. And I was in there with 4K video shooting for 2 hours.
Now, again, we're running out of time. Is that Ramses, or is this 5,000 years before? Because it's actually 100 feet deeper, right?
Yeah, it's 200 feet deep. No, it was all done with lost ancient high technology.
Right.
So we're looking at 12,000 plus years old.
The only reason why they associate it with Ramses is because...
No, it's because Ramses loved to have his cartouche carved on objects that were found for him, including the giant statues in Egypt.
Right.
Those are pre-dynastic, made by machines. But as they were found, his priests would come to him and say, we found another 30-foot tall statue. Would you like your cartouche put on it? And he'd say yes. And you can tell the difference because the finish of the statues is perfectly polished. The cartouche is very crude. So the cartouche was done maybe with bronze tools, but the statues had to be made using complex machines, probably a computer-coordinated CNC machine that goes in and is
I
told
think it was
where to
chicken
cut.
bones, Brien. Chicken bones.
That's what Giorgio says.
Yeah, chicken bones. That's right. Thank you so much. Brien Foerster.
Oh, man, amazing.
Billy, before I let you go,
Yeah.
I would like to know when your new book, Emerald Tablets of Thoth, is coming out.
The compendium of the Emerald Tablets is actually now finally, the final draft has been approved. The first draft, it was like somebody was trying to hold this thing back from coming out. The first draft came back a little screwed up. The image credits were off.
When's it coming out?
It's going to be shipping in about 2 weeks. So everybody will have it in their hands. It's in production now. All the printing is being done, and
We
I can't
cannot wait.
It's going to be amazing.
Wait. Billy Carson.
Thank you.
Brien Foerster.
Appreciate it.
All right, I've got to take a break, so keep the applause going. We'll just roll this right into this commercial, live from Contact in the Desert, 2018.
Yeah.
This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. We'll be right back.
Hey, thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. Getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Contact in the Desert 2018, Fade to Black, live. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. How great is this? Has this been amazing so far? Is this cool? I can't believe it. Laura and I were just talking. This is the 5th year. I think it's the 5th. It's the 5th year that she has done Fade to Black live with me at Contact in the Desert. Unbelievable. Laura Eisenhower, right here. Laura Eisenhower. And Michael Salla is here, all the way from Hawaii. Dr. Michael Salla, right there. Unbelievable. Great venue this year. Laura, how are you doing, and what has changed for you in the last year? What has changed for you in the last 2 days?
Married.
Laura got married.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. The last year was me really transitioning to Montana and regenerating.
Who's the lucky man?
Kevin O'Shea.
Kevin O'Shea, Laura's husband, right there.
Yeah. So I've been there for the last year, and it's just been incredible, and it just felt like the time to really seal the deal, and that was just a couple days ago.
Seal the deal. Who sealed it? Was it you or him?
I'm seal. He's deal.
Congratulations!
Thank
I mean, that's a real game changer, isn't it? When you come to events like this, and this being the biggest and the best, but for you. When we are dealing with the darkness of the world today, and you walk around and everybody here is so awake and aware, how does that make you feel? Are we starting to make a difference? Do you think that you're starting to make a difference?
I mean, I really feel it. We all are holding ground on the ascension timeline, and anybody can join in any time, and the minute you realize that you're made of it, and it's your birthright, and it's not something you need to try and strategize to attain, it is available, we get to really start to celebrate and not fear, really anything else. And I don't think we ever did. We were just really focused on calling it out. And I think it's loud and clear. And because it's available to everyone, you can't really turn your head the other way anymore. And I think we've been loud enough. And it's been many years that we've been doing this work together. And I'm feeling the victory. Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Laura. And what about you personally? In that you see the world as it is, and you have friends and people that want to come to you and ask you for that advice, but do you take your own advice? Have you changed?
I do work hard to take my own advice. There are times where you do really well and then you lose your space a little bit, but it's only to just dredge up more treasures, that... I think at times I just feel like it's important to experience certain levels of this human experience in order to be effective in how I assist others. I'm learning to maybe not do that anymore and just to recognize that enough is enough already. I can hold space. I can, be in my power. And I mean, it's all very surreal. I don't sometimes wonder if, this might just be the afterlife. It's like, I just can't.
How so? How so?
I don't know. I mean, I think we all might have related to those times of isolation, being ostracized, being misunderstood, and it's really hard to shake those stigmas. And so I think where I don't always take my own advice is, how can you really step into this and own it without either fearing that it's all going to be gone one day, or that there's something perhaps inauthentic about it, and it keeps showing up again and again as nothing but authentic and genuine. And I've never really had doubts once I entered this community.
Right.
And so I think that's become like a source of great strength. I do take my own advice in the sense that, I work energy all the time. Integrity's never been an issue, but I realize it's easier for me to love others than sometimes myself. And I'm learning just like everybody else. I'm very human. But I'm incredibly inspired by everybody, and you guys, are really what helps me to remember.
Before I get to Michael, I'll let everybody know Laura is staying next to us, our hotel rooms here, right? She's next door. And I'm out on the patio, and I pick up my phone, and I had a phone call, and I hear, "Is that Jimmy Church?" And I go, "Who's?" And it's me, Laura. She sticks her head around the corner. Were you there, Kevin? So Laura and I are talking. We got the brick wall. We're leaning on the railing. But I said to her, "You look great." And I said, "You sound happy." And you said, "I am." You are happy. Are you happy?
Yeah.
I'm saying it because this is our private conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's I think that was very real.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is, and I'm a little shocked that people are so happy for me. I'm like, I feel so blessed to have this kind of community. It's a dream come true. If anything's been my mission, it's this. I mean, the information, that's a part of it, but we have to look at the information to be able to really come together as a community in, honesty and, really looking at each other as a family, and I've really felt that in an amazing way. And yes, I've been a pretty pain person, really just wanting sacred union and somebody to have my back, a best friend, a companion. It hasn't always been easy. I think we can all relate, and I'm really in that zone. And the next part is, can you integrate it? Can you fully own it? Can you wake up and stop pinching yourself? Because it's a little bit much. Just being here and.
Right.
And, all the love.
And we went through a segment with you with no F-bombs. So we got that going for us. Laura Eisenhower. Dr. Michael Salla, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Jimmy. I'm coming from Hawaii. We're dealing with a lot of things over there.
Let's talk about that. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah,
are
definitely.
You okay? How close are you to the volcano?
We're okay. We moved from the Puna area 2 days before the lava started flowing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we knew something was coming. We were actually really hoping to get out before it broke. But a lot of people knew something was coming, and I'm probably one of the many that realized later just how badly damaged that East Rift Zone was from all of the fracking that's been going on for 25 years now by this geothermal plant there that was put, I think, deliberately to cause this, to basically create a kind of chaotic situation from this lava flow.
I want to say this, the people of Hawaii that understand what a volcano is and what is involved. It's not necessarily the science of it, but there's also the goddess aspect of it too. And you must respect that part of it. And I thought that the reaction for me was a little bit humbling in that they knew where they were living and what they were living with, right?
Yeah, the native Hawaiian community, they respect Kilauea as a manifestation of Pele, the goddess energy, the fire goddess. And so they respect her, and it really is an important part of the traditional religion there. But they always were against the building of this geothermal plant and any kind of geothermal energy program there, because they felt that this was a violation of the goddess of Pele, and they were adamantly opposed. They were jailed, they were silenced, politicians were bribed, and they were ignored. And now we're seeing the ramifications of what happens when you ignore the native Hawaiians who really are integrated with the land and in tune with the goddess energy, with Pele. And now it's really getting worse.
You know, I know that we're at the biggest UFO conference in the world, and your research is important to us, and I would like to talk about that. But for our audience, you are in Hawaii. This is a tragic event that you guys are going through, and I would like to take the time, if that's okay, to ask you a couple of more questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
You guys don't mind. He lives there, right? Okay. How is it worse today than it was last week?
Oh yeah, it's definitely getting much worse. People are losing their homes. They're seeing their favourite spots, kind of like get buried by lava. People get very emotional. In my case,
of course,
my favourite surf spot is cut off now, and people can't get there, and it might be covered, and so that was very emotional for me.
Can we talk about a little bit of a conspiracy behind this too, as well? Was fracking involved?
Yeah, definitely. The fracking began in 1993 with this the Puna geothermal venture that was placed in this residential zone against. This was land that was not designated for any kind of industrial enterprise at all, not even for farming. It was in residential, but yet they put this power plant down there because the previous attempt to tap into Kilauea's energy, which was this pristine rainforest just east of the Volcano National Park, another company had begun to do geothermal drilling, and when they began, the lava flowed and it overran that. That was back in 82, and then soon after that, then the Pu'o'o vent began, and that was what kind of devastated the whole kind of Kalapana, Kaimu area.
You know how insane that sounds when you speak about this, that fracking, we could have caused this intense destruction and people losing their homes and breathing glass and things that are happening right now. Do you think somebody will be held responsible?
I hope so, because, fracking in a hotspot is just unprecedented. You don't do that.
Fracking around a volcano just sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a highly pressurized system.
You think?
Yeah. And so and now what we're seeing is that Kilauea, which is a 4,000-foot high volcano, the fracking was so bad in the East Rift Zone that the lava is now draining. All the magma is
She
draining
might be
out.
just pissed off.
That's
Am I right? Am I right? You just don't do that. Listen, we got to move on. I want a big, loud round of applause for Laura Eisenhower and Dr. Michael Salla. Thank you guys so much. Keep the applause going, because I would like everybody to say hello to Mr. Corey Goode. Corey Goode, come on up. And Jordan Sather. Jordan Sather is in the house. Corey Goode, come on, let's go. It's Corey. Jordan Sather right here. Welcome, you guys. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
You look good, Corey.
Thank you.
Jordan, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
You know what? I've never interviewed you before.
You haven't?
No, I don't think so. Have we?
Why not?
I'm feeling vulnerable right now.
You opened it up.
Yeah, disclaimer right now. First time guest disclaimer.
I should get a voice
Jordan,
box.
it's just you and I sitting on my couch talking as friends. And where the conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends. But we're going to end as friends. You guys got it right there.
There we go.
Corey Goode. Welcome. Everybody wants to know, as we started to put this together and contacting the desert and you, I get the emails. Yes, secret space program, great, right? They want that. Emery Smith, great. Antarctica keeps coming up from this community over and over and over again. Do we have an update?
No updates on Antarctica.
Why is that? Who's got their phone on? Who's got their phone? I'm just kidding. Somebody's got... What's going on? Why not?
Well, it's obviously being kept...
Talk into the mic.
It's obviously being kept in our consciousness for a reason.
Right.
It's one of the things they're going to use to do a grand distraction if information that they don't like is released. And they're still holding that quiver, you know.
But why? Okay, when we have, there is a connection between December 16th, 2017, the disclosure, partial disclosure, Antarctica, censorship, YouTube, what is going on globally right now. Everything seems to be connected. Why do they want to, A, bring stuff forward and suppress it at the same time?
They bring it forward a little bit to keep it in your consciousness. They don't want to drop it all on you at once. Thank you. They want to slowly leak it into the mass consciousness. Can you turn up the air conditioner too?
But then why? Okay, but then why reverse course too at the same time?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the information to come out the same way you guys are.
Right.
So I've just been shown information, told that it's going to come out, but the timetable, I don't know. It could be up to us if we get out and start demanding it instead of sitting back just waiting.
I want to ask you something personally about yourself. The recent, over the last 6 months, and I was talking to David about this the other night on the show, that your conversation and interview styles have gone through the roof. The Gaia stuff is very fun and very informative to watch. And it's difficult to get somebody to engage and resonate, but you seem really comfortable in yourself now. I'm being serious. Do you feel better because you are able to engage?
To be honest, it took me a while to really embrace whatever this mission or whatever it is. I was still resisting, you know, being asked to come forward and talk about 8-foot-tall blue birds.
Right.
You know, that's tough enough.
Right.
So
it seems like you're asking the right questions because now you're not the interviewee also, right? You're the interviewer now too as well.
Well, now that I've gotten a little bit more comfortable on camera, I can now ask questions of other insiders that David may not think to ask.
Right.
Because I have different experience.
Right.
So the conversations between David, Emery, and myself really open up over the next probably 8 episodes.
And it's the same thing with Emery. It's the same thing with David. And you guys are all have come into your own. But for the community, with you guys interacting and having those correct conversations, the information comes out.
Yeah, the episodes with Emery and I, that's the first time we really talked. I think the night before we shot a few of those episodes, Jordan was there acting like he wasn't listening.
Right. I saw a couple of the selfies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I did, by the way.
You know, Emery and I were talking, and we were surprised at how much overlap there was. I need a drink.
You need a drink? There you go. While you're taking your sip, did anybody see, I'm not going to bring that up, Conscious Life Expo, the bathroom. That was great. Did anybody see that? Who saw that? Okay, yeah, you were there.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
The bathroom?
When you had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the panel in front of 1,200 people.
And David gave me a lot of crap, and he did it the next time we were on stage.
Yes, that was great. That was so funny. Jordan Sather, young man. tearing it up right now. Jordan, and I know that I've given you a hard time over the last year about being the young guy in the room, but with that carries a lot of responsibility. And there are those out there that say, if you do have criticism, that you're too young to have this knowledge, or you're too young to share this knowledge because you don't have life's experience yet. You've read it over and over. How do you respond to that?
Do they know my experience?
How do you respond?
That's how I respond. I ask them, do they know my experience?
Right.
And most people, they like to assume that they have the truth or they know what's going on because it makes them feel good inside to think they know, but they really have no idea.
Where do you get your information from?
I get my information from the beautiful internet that we have.
Right.
And actually talking to people and actually putting myself in those experiences. That's pretty much what the last 7 years of my life has been, is actually putting myself in situations where I get to talk to people, where I get to see diseases healed or devices working or things like that. So I can actually have the firsthand knowledge. That's the only way to actually know something,
right,
is to experience it.
Get up on the mic.
So
yes.
That's really what I've been doing, is actually gaining the experience. So no matter what people can say out there, it doesn't matter. They can say
right,
whatever they want.
Right.
I know.
Right. Well, obviously you're touching a nerve. Mm-hmm. You have been censored. You have been brought down now multiple times by YouTube. And just recently, that was it, right? YouTube said they've had enough of you, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how do you respond to that? And is there... what actually, for everybody here directly, what happened and what did they say to you this last time around?
So what exactly happened is that last week I flew into Denver to do some work with Corey on the new documentary we have coming out and some other projects.
Right.
Flew in on Monday, woke up Tuesday morning, and I get 2 emails from YouTube. One of those emails saying that they gave me a community guidelines strike and took down a video. And the second email was that, well, since you've had so many community guidelines strikes, we're going to suspend you from not just your main account, but all YouTube accounts.
The same day that Fade to Black received 7 strikes.
I wanted to ask you about that. All
yes.
7 the same day?
Yeah.
Wow.
7 all at once. And this censorship and what is going on and the ability to close down communication.
Seriously.
Yeah. And it's one thing for you, because you are bringing forward some pretty radical stuff that I could see a lot of reasons to suppress that or want to. Fade to Black, we just have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're just here playing music and interviewing people and trying to share, why, but it's, I don't think that they show any boundaries or consideration, or that they even care.
Truly, they don't. A lot of people tell me it's unbelievable that they would do this, but it's absolutely believable.
It's absolutely
why would they
believable.
not be? Yeah,
right.
that just, it gives us verification, gives us validation. It means we're doing the right thing. Me flying a little too close to the sun with what I talk about. Now they're coming after Jimmy Church with just his video podcast. That must mean we're close to something.
Right.
That must mean we're truly close to something. And the fact that they would take down my channel, I only got 1 strike, right? And I already had 1 strike on my channel, so that should have been 2 total strikes, which is only a 2-week ban. Okay, I would have dealt with that. But here they decide to suspend it completely.
Oh, they just hit us with 7, 3 immediate, done. And I could not believe.
Right.
But anyway, when everything was going down with you and Corey and David, and we had been talking about this over, what was going on, I was always in my little safe zone, Rita and I, with Fade to Black, and everything was cool. I saw what was going on. And now it has happened to me, and it just says to me that they don't care. Exactly. They are going to shut it down, and if they really feel that you are going into a zone that they're not comfortable with, I don't know who it is either. I don't know if it's right, left, center, government, 3-letter, I don't know, but certainly to come at us with the heaviest of hammers.
Right, and you said you were sitting in your Fade to Black safe zone, and I kind of felt like that for the past year and a half, is that I was reporting a lot of political stuff and very touchy topics, but I would always throw the secret space program and UFO info and whatnot out there just to keep myself a little more fringe and a little more outside that bullseye or that target. But like you said, now we're not in that safe zone anymore. So that means that they are going for that fringe information, which then means that that fringe information isn't fringe anymore.
That's right.
Then these topics are becoming much more serious. Whoa, ancient history, extraterrestrial civilizations, wow, different sciences than we've ever been taught. This isn't fringe stuff anymore.
No, it's not fringe, and it's gone mainstream,
Right.
and they don't have that control.
Mhm.
And the freedom of YouTube, one of the things about that was that we were able to present these ideas and bring them forward. And the second that the mainstream media is starting to cover this, it's like this double standard.
Right.
They want you to, they want to have the appearance of freedom, right?
Yeah.
It's creators. This is you. A
Freedom
free
of
platform.
speech,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you mentioned earlier when you were talking to Corey, why would they bring out this information and disclose it, but then at the same time censor this stuff? Well, there's a difference between what they're bringing out, what they're censoring, and there's a classic term I'm sure you've heard before called the limited hangout.
That's exactly
That's exactly it. So they're bringing out a specific type of information with a specific narrative and a specific angle for various reasons, whether it's to distract us from what's going on over here or to, whatever the case may be. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
Don't stop what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Jordan Sather, everybody. Unbelievable. And before we move on, I have always said that we are on Fade to Black, and I certainly do this on Coast to Coast. We do this here at Contact in the Desert. Our next generation, who is coming up behind us, behind me. I'm an old guy. I'm 50. I'm going to be 55. I'm going to be 55. But I need to know that we are represented and that we are going to be in very good hands into the future. And Jordan, you represent that. So again, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Corey, what are you going to be speaking about this weekend? I'll be introducing you over the next couple of days. What are you going to be talking about?
Going to speak a little bit on duality.
Ooh.
And then we're going to do a workshop showing screening our new documentary, Above Majestic. And then we're going to do a signing. I think we're also doing a panel, I think.
You're going to be doing a panel with myself.
Yeah. Are you going to be there?
You know what? Can you come over if I get you a seat? Would
Sure,
you do that?
yeah.
See, that's the thing about Corey. People say, Corey doesn't talk enough. Corey doesn't, I wish he would. Let me tell you something. I talk to Corey every day, every other day. We certainly text every day.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't want to embarrass you right now, but we do text all day long. But Corey doesn't want anything but to speak. Okay? I'm telling you right now, that's all he wants to do is talk and bring his information forward. And he's been very courageous. Please give it up for the one and only Corey Goode.
Thank you.
And with that, I got to take a break. We are live from Contact in the Desert. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. We'll be right back. Give it up. Is this great?
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Contact in the Desert 2018. Fade to Black live. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Now, I'm going to freak everybody out right now. You guys want to really freak out? You guys remember Dawson's Creek? Right in the back, right there, actor Kerr Smith from Dawson's Creek. Right there. Say hi to Kerr Smith. Kerr, you knew I was going to do it, man. You knew it, right? Kerr Smith, and how cool is it, right? Unbelievable. Are you ready? Give it up. Sonia Grace, right here. Director, writer, Michael Mazzola, right there. Michael Mazzola directed Stephen Greer's Unacknowledged. He was on Coast to Coast with me last week. Yeah, go ahead. That's a great film, right? And we'll talk a little bit about this. He's got a new film now that we announced it on Coast to Coast last week. I can say it now. His newest project for The Orchard and Sony Pictures is a documentary on David Icke. They've been shooting over in England, and that's the next project. How cool is that? Michael Mazzola right here. And 5 years in the making. Step on the mic. Adam, you got to lean forward. Don't be quiet. I need you to be nice and loud. I've been waiting to interview Adam Curry. He's right here for the last 5 years. Adam Curry. Say hello. Say hello.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, I knew he was going to. Sonia Grace, is this the greatest event, Contact in the Desert, for you and what you do? You walk around and you connect with everybody. Here, there's literally thousands. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. This is an amazing event, but I have to apologize to the audience because the only place that you will find me this weekend is on George Norrie's panel. So you won't find me in the program. You won't find me on the internet, on the site, because I'm spirit traveling. So if you want to find me,
let me tell you something. When I heard that you were going to be here a couple of days, I about lost it. I was so happy, and you're here. Isn't this great? Is this the most amazing place? Look at this crowd. Look at this.
I know. You guys are all beautiful. Beautiful.
Now, her new book, Spirit Traveler, right here. You can go and get this. I actually already had it, by the way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Now you have 2 copies.
Now I have 2 copies. You know what? I'll give a copy away. Sonia will sign it. So who should we give it to? Wait a minute. Let's do a contest. No, let's do a contest. Come on, you got to help me. Let's do this right now. Who thinks they are the coolest person in this room? That's what I want to know. You seem cool. I don't know. That's pretty cool right there. I don't know. Look. Oh, wait. Jake Taryn. I got to give it to Jake Taryn. Jake, come up here. Jake Taryn. Come here. Come around here, Jake.
All right, Jake.
Everybody knows Jake. Jake, how old are you?
I'm 16.
All right.
16 years, cancer survivor, right here. Jake Taryn. And I want to say this about Jake. I'm so proud of this young man, but the point is, I want our future to be cool. I want our future. This guy questions everything. He wants it, and he's wearing a cool shirt, too. Jake, after the show tonight, actually, Sonia will sign this for you. She'll sign it right now. Jake.
Awesome.
And thank you. Thank you. Jake, just say hi to everybody. Say hi to them.
What's up, everybody?
Jake Taryn, man. Jake comes up to me today, and one of the coolest things for me is to take a selfie. We did it last year. We did it again today. Jake, thank you so much. Where's your dad? Michael Taryn right there. That's the coolest parent I know. Getting all choked up. Michael Taryn. Thank you, Jake. You're the best. All right?
Jimmy. Thank you.
All right. Jake Taryn. Seriously. All right. See, now, that's what I'm talking about. Right?
Right.
That kid is so woke. Do you know what woke is?
No, what's woke?
Right there, that's woke.
All right.
That's woke. When we think about that, there is, whether we call them star children or indica, or there is a generation right now that is fully aware. They know what's going on. It seems like they can read minds, you know?
Do you know that all the children that are being born now, like the newborns, maybe 1, 2, 3 years old, they're all starseeds.
They are.
There's very few children that have come in now that have maybe 1 or 2 lifetimes, and that's it. Most of them are just straight direct. As we were back at the end of Atlantis and Lemuria.
Right.
We were also starseeds at that time.
Well,
now we're just old.
But I go back, yeah, I know, right? But I think about when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I was just dumb. Compared to kids today are just, they are fully equipped and upright out of the gate.
There's people who, because I work on the phone all day as a healer, there's people who call me and their children, their young 3-year-old, 4-year-old has some kind of, developmental, slow, something isn't working, and I work on them and get their energy systems back in order. And they're like on their way. I had one gal whose son could not use the left side of his arm. And he was labeled with all these labels. He's genius. And I told her, I said, by the time he's in the 8th grade, he will be reading college-level material. And sure enough, I worked on him. He uses his left arm, 8th grade, doing college-level work. I mean, he's really brilliant. It's just that our systems miss that because they don't know what starseeds are.
I think some DNA's been activated.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I look, my daughters, Rita, where's my wife? Is she even in the room? We have 2 beautiful daughters, Deanna and Nicole, so far beyond where I was at their age. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm embarrassed, right? But I know that we are represented correctly. And you look at somebody like Jake, walking around at this conference, and I met Jake last year at this conference, right? Is that right? That's what's representing right now.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Sonia Grace, everybody.
Thank you.
Mike, pull up the microphone. Now, I talk about the next generation. Oh, you got to get up on the mic, Mike. Been waiting to say that all day. Hollywood right now, Michael, is certainly interested in our community. The UFO question, conspiracy theory. And here you are literally working for The Orchard and Sony Pictures, and I don't think that this has ever happened with a major motion picture company out of Hollywood ever, and you are right there directing these phenomenal films. Is there something going on? Are they a part of this message getting out? And do they really care, or are they chasing money?
Well,
get up on the mic. All the way.
Our original suspicion was they're probably just chasing money. And then we got to know these guys and realized that they deeply care about this subject matter.
Right.
During the whole making of Unacknowledged, I spent, a year in Virginia working with Stephen Greer. I didn't see any UFOs during the making of the film. The first time I saw a UFO was at Dodger Stadium with the executives from The Orchard. They actually go out and do these UFO contact expeditions. So they're very sincere, and I'm very lucky to be working with them.
Are you insisting right now in front of this audience that they're not as concerned about the money as they are the message, and the ones that run production and greenlight these pictures are actually concerned about this community?
The people that I deal with in Sony, they deeply care about getting the truth out. Now, they have their bosses who care about the money, and what I'm trying to do is show them that investing in this space and doing the right thing can make them money and also make a difference.
Don't you think it's one thing to make a documentary about UFOs and special assets, projects, secret assets? That's one thing. But it's another thing to greenlight a picture about David Icke, right? I'm thinking that they're okay with it at that point.
Actually, there was a lot of excitement when I pitched the project. So, it was greenlit pretty quickly.
Now, how great is that? A documentary by Sony, David Icke? When does the film come out? What are you thinking about?
So we're slated to be released around March of next year.
March of next year. Probably it will beat Adam Curry. Adam, get on the mic. Adam Curry, everybody. Now, Adam, I want you to take a minute. We have only got about 2 minutes before we have to jump. Really quick for everybody here, what is the project that you have been working on all of these years?
The project is a mobile app called Entangled, and it comes out of the consciousness research community at places like the Princeton Engineering Lab and the Institute of Noetic Sciences and the Global Consciousness Project. And essentially, it's a mobile app that you can download to your phone that allows you to participate in a large-scale consciousness research experiment, asking, is there something more to our minds? Is consciousness a real thing that interacts with physical reality, or is it just an illusion? And if it's the former, we've created a way for our phones to sort of measure that and contribute that data to a centralized database where we can ask really probing, really interesting questions about the nature of our consciousness and the nature of reality.
That's absolutely incredible. And I know that I've given you a hard time when, but it's a complex, this isn't anything that's easy. Is it finally ready?
No, but almost. So we, in the minute that we have left, I do have a beta version on my phone. It does work. We have been testing it internally. I can show it to you. We can play with it. I think that all of us know. I was just talking to Clyde Lewis about this a few minutes ago. Once one thing breaks through quantum or parallel worlds or time travel or the UFO question, ghosts, paranormal, any one of those things, any one of those chips that
It's all breaking loose. You're certainly part of that. If this is as successful as it should be, you're going to be part of unraveling all of this. And certainly the man won't have an opportunity to stop it because it will be functional.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's happening. I think that we're somewhere near the beginning of a paradigm shift with respect to how we fundamentally relate to questions like consciousness and reality. My goal is to sort of cut ahead of the curve a little bit and try to develop technologies based on what's coming and to get that distributed in the hands of many people so that we're all participating in this cool new area of research and this cool new technology, hopefully.
Adam, for everybody in here, thank you. Some of the most exciting stuff for this community in a long, long time. Much success. I've got a break right here, and I'm going to welcome to the stage, well, first off, give it up, Sonia Grace, Michael Mazzola, Adam Curry. Thank you so much. This is Contact in the Desert. You guys, welcome. Thank you so much, Sonia. Keep the applause going. Michael Mazzola, Adam Curry. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I would like to welcome to the stage. Are you guys ready? Steve Murillo is here. Steve Murillo. Steve, come on up. And from On Stellar, we just call him Desh. Desh, come on up. Unbelievable. Now, for everybody here, Steve Murillo, Naval Academy graduate, Marine Corps fighter pilot, director of MUFON Los Angeles for 13 years, now runs UPARS, one of the coolest guys, most intimidating guys that I know, one of my close friends. But for you to go through, I would need everybody to understand what I'm saying here. A real Naval Academy graduate, Marine Corps fighter pilot, today UFO and paranormal researcher. How cool is that? I want to hear it. You can go through life and never sit down with somebody that has had Steve's life experiences, but the credentials, you work for TRW, you worked on satellite systems.
I did.
Pretty much you've got everything that it takes to go and lead a successful life. You could do whatever you want. You're a UFO researcher at Contact in the Desert 2018.
And very proud of it,
yeah,
yes.
Right? We have launched Desh. I don't know if Scott is here. Steve, myself, my wife, Rita, right there. Everybody say hi to Rita. She stepped in the room.
There she is.
Scott Leslie, Steve Mara, and others. We have worked very, very hard. I don't know, is Bobby Riv in the room? Where's Bobby?
I don't think Bobby's here.
Bobby's here. Okay, so the On Stellar team is here. On Stellar, I want to hear by applause who has been on Stellar so far. Wow, right?
Wait, I need to see more hands.
That's
I need, honestly.
Wow.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's okay. Facebook has given us the best advertising for On Stellar that we could ever ask for.
They really have. Thank you, Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. On Stellar represents not only everything that a social media site could be and the technology of the future and Internet 3.0, but it's also in the blockchain. It's also built for our community. And our community has always been teased, right?
That's right.
Teased. And now the next coolest, bestest thing on the internet in 10 or 15 years, built for us, and it's On Stellar.
It is. You guys are the beginning of a revolution on the internet. And before we go any further, I want to acknowledge this guy right here. You guys have heard of blood.
Hold on. No, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to steal your thunder. Sorry. I just want to say
mute.
Wait, I want to talk to you.
I know.
But anyway.
Steve, wait. Steve was my first guest on Fade to Black 5 years ago. Right here. My first guest. And as of tonight, he's my last. You're fired.
I want to say something about the Fadernauts. You guys come with so much love and just enthusiasm for these topics, and I really appreciate that. And I feel right at home with you guys.
You built it, man.
Well, no, you built it.
No.
You built this, and I see this, but I see 100 times more people out there listening right now. Wish they could be there here with us. But hats off to Jim for doing what he's doing. And we're making history, guys. You guys don't know it now. You may not realize what's happening, but it's happening. And anyway, I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, because I wanted the honor to say, here's Bobby Riv. Bobby Rivera
there he is.
from On Stellar. Okay, so Desh, I need everybody in this room to understand, Desh is a developer. His vision for On Stellar has been steadfast. Now, before I say that it's all anything or one person, it is not. It's a team effort, and part of that is all of you and your suggestions too, as well.
Yes,
it's
thank
the
you.
community.
Thank you.
This man right here, Desh, the vision that you have seen come to the screen that is out there on the internet right now, I owe it to this. We all do. To Desh, please give it up right now. Unbelievable, the amount of work. So I call it, here's a typical conversation. Desh, how's it going? Dude, I'm done, man. I'm so done. I'm done. Congratulations, man. And get all the way, move the microphone towards you, pull it towards you. I want you to understand that we really thank this hard work. And we pushed and pushed to get this launched. It's launched. Seriously, man, how do you feel right now? How do you feel?
I feel overwhelmed and very grateful to the community. I want to thank you, Jimmy Church, the community, and the Fadernauts. So thank you very much. Very grateful for all your support.
Yep.
That wasn't the question. How do you feel?
I feel amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Does he look like a developer? Does he look like he's on the show Silicon Valley? Kind of does, doesn't he?
He kind of does.
He kind of does. Kind of does. So, okay, we've done a lot of updates. We've done a lot of things lately. But one of the major problems with the internet right now is YouTube. What is On Stellar going to do to address this and possibly start working with other video creators and moving this thing forward?
Absolutely. So that's a great question, and we've been looking at several solutions to this. Obviously we're looking at something called IPFS, and we're going to be implementing the live streaming as well as video uploads.
He's a nerd.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Engineering nerd. Oh, my God.
He's a nerd.
Basically, listen.
Not one person in this room.
Summarize that, Desh, please.
Yes, please.
You're going to have live streaming and video when we release blockchain. Yes.
Desh, I love you, man.
Oh, man.
I love you, man.
Every time
was
I'm
classic
on the phone
Desh,
with this
guys.
guy, and he's like, okay, stop with the technical mumbo jumbo and just tell me it
yes
like
or
it is.
no. Yeah.
Yes or no. Yes or no.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One man in the room back there.
Yeah.
Some people appreciate it.
IPD is here. For everybody out there, all of the Fadernauts that are listening right now and tweeting out, IPD is standing in the back of the room with the Fade to Black shirt on and his suspenders.
The suspenders.
IPD right there. Bobby Rivera. Okay, let's pass this down. This is Bobby Riv, everybody. Now, if you've been on Stellar, and if you've needed any assistance, any help, any questions answered, or vent your anger, whatever it is, it's been Bobby Rivera. But Bobby, what? Thank you. Who?
Taking the heat.
Yeah, but also that video of him on the beach. Right? You're a rock star now, man. Everybody's like, what? You got to go check out the video. Bobby, what's the community's reaction been so far? You've been the spokes, you're at the front lines of all of this. How's it been?
Well, it's been very favorable. A lot of the reaction has been, this is what we've been waiting for. We finally have a platform that we can discuss and share our ideas on. The design, we're getting a lot of positive feedback on the design. They like the layout. They like that it's modern, it's sleek, that it's different from what they've experienced on Facebook and other social media platforms. But yeah, of course, there's complaints here and there. But no. It's overall, the community's been very, it's been a very favorable response, and they're very excited to see what's coming. It's made my job easier because, while my job is to put out fires as well, I haven't really had to put as many fires out as I have been helping people just navigate the platform, just explaining how to get set up. It's been a good process for me.
Well, I'm going to be straight with all three of you. If everything came back as a positive review, it's BS.
Yeah.
That's not honest, right? And it's something is tilted in the wrong direction. If you get the criticisms and you get things, people concerned wanting to fix bugs, that means they're actually on the platform. They're actually trying to break it. And that kind of negative stuff, when it comes at you, that means you're a success. And OnStellar's here to change the world. And we're not here to sit on our hands and enjoy this. This is the next big deal. And I know that everybody is watching what you guys are doing, where it's come from, where it's going. This is not a joke. And they are not going to take it lightly. They're not going to go down without a fight.
That's right.
And we are here to change the world, And when you do that, you've got to come in and accept the challenge. And I want to thank all of you guys. And certainly, where is Rita? Did she walk? Rita, every time I bring up, she's gone, right?
She's gone.
Rita has put in as much effort into OnStellar as any one of us, and it's a team effort. And I just want to thank all of you. Scott's not here, but he can listen to the replay later.
But Jim, hey, thank you for your support in this. But also thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the users that have signed up. Honestly, the platform only exists because of you.
That's right.
And we built it for you. And we're the exact opposite of what Facebook is. We're the exact opposite of what YouTube's doing. You guys are being censored out there I was talking to people today at the conference who post, things that have to do with our topics, and they get pulled down or they get thrown in quote unquote Facebook jail.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
We do not do that. We use the wisdom of you guys, the wisdom of the crowd, either elevates a post or drops it to the bottom. And in other words, if you're resonating with the crowd, your posts are going to go up, and people are going to read them, and they're going to resonate, and they're going to learn, and they're going to exchange ideas. And that's what the purpose of this platform is for our community to grow. Meaning growing in knowledge and awakening. That's what this is about. And once these guys lay in the blockchain, it's actually going to monetize that interaction, and that's going to be amazingly powerful for you guys.
Does that mean, hold on, can I blockchain my barbecue pics from the backyard?
Yeah, if people like them, you're going to get paid.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I like those pics, by the way. And I'm always wondering, how come I'm not there? How come I didn't get the invite? What the hell? I only live, 45 minutes away. What's going on?
Steve Murillo, Desh, Bobby Riv, OnStellar. This is...
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Contact in the Desert 2018. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. We'll be right back. Give it up.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Contact in the Desert 2018. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Unbelievable. The biggest, best, coolest, funnest UFO conference in the entire world happening right now in Palm Springs, California. I want to let everybody know that coming up later here, Freddy Silva is going to be here. Dr. Robert Schoch is coming up to the stage. We're going to have Linda Moulton Howe, Richard Dolan, Eric Von Daniken, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Are you guys cool with all of that? I mean, we can go bigger. Did we go bigger? You guys, how do you do that, right? You don't. You just hang out right here. I would like to welcome, it doesn't get any better than this right now, Jason Quitt, right here. Unbelievable. And next to him, the X-Man, John DeSouza. Give it up for John DeSouza. Now, I want to start here before we get into the cool stuff. But personally, I think the audience should know this. John, second year for Contact in the Desert for you.
That's right.
Jason Quitt, second year for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and here we are right now. Both of you, your lives have changed in the last 2 years. And I'm not kidding about this. Let's go with Jason first before we go with the Fed. Oh, hey, you guys want to play Spot the Fed? You guys want to play Spot the Fed? Oh, wait a minute. It's too easy, all right? Anyway, you guys get the joke. Jason, how's your life changed in the last 2 years? It's been pretty crazy, hasn't it?
I don't think I've been home yet in 2 years.
Right? No, how's it changed?
it's my whole world has opened up, and thank you, Jimmy. My whole world has opened up where suddenly I'm just some guy from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, just telling my story to the local community, to basically running around the entire planet nonstop, talking to groups of people. So my life has changed completely. And I do have to apologize, but I can't answer all these emails anymore. But it's been such a positive experience, because just to open up and share to the community what I went through and what I've learned, it's almost like people from all over the world are saying, Jay, I never told my stories to people, and what you described happened to me, and now I feel comfortable telling people what happened. So it's really spreading this amazing awakening and opening of the community where they're feeling comfortable enough to share their experiences. So the experiencers are really coming out of the woodwork now.
Well, I think what you're describing for everybody is the community has resonated with your message.
Absolutely.
And that's half of the issue. You can have the best information out there, but if they're not resonating with you, if they're not digging you, they're not going to get to that information, are they? And for you, the community has just welcomed you. Now, is it because you're tall, good looking?
Yes.
Is it your voice? What is it? I'm certainly joking right now, but what I mean by that, what is it that's in your message that everybody resonates with?
I hear I have a very calming voice, number one. But number two is that I think they can tell that I'm coming from a place of experience and not research.
Right.
So when I'm speaking my story, they can feel those emotions. They can go right there with me to that moment and understand what I was going through and how I felt. And
right.
It's almost like they can go there too. Like I speak a lot about outer body experience and astral travel, and I've even heard people listening to your show and saying, Jay, I heard you on Jimmy Church, and that night I had an outer body experience.
Right. Oh, I had a few myself. Okay, I'm going to flip everybody out here in case you didn't know. Stand up. I want you to stand up for everybody. Okay, are you ready for this? 6 months ago, this man broke his back.
3 places.
6 months ago, I would have him stand up, turn around, and show you his back and describe what's currently holding him together. Jason Quitt fell down some stairs and broke his back. 3 places. And he's here today. Now, but I think there's a story behind that. Oh, you know what? I want to just sit and hang with you and talk all night. But I've got the X-Man next to you, too. Okay, I want a yes or no answer.
All right.
Okay, I think an entity might have pushed you down some stairs to silence you and take you out. I know that sounds crazy. Yes or no? Possibility?
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's how it happened, right?
Yeah, but even in my stories, if you hear me speaking on the radio and read the book, the past 15 years is getting attacked by these things.
Right.
So, I'm learning some very hard lessons, I guess.
And he's here today to share with all of you. Jason Quitt. I'm not kidding about that. All right, John DeSouza, you look fed-ish.
Yeah.
You look fed-ish. You know I love you, right?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
good. I don't want to get around. He intimidates me, man. I got to put that in there. You know I love you. Yeah, okay. FBI, okay? When you leave the FBI, do you actually leave the FBI?
Yeah, you do. It's not like CIA or the mafia. Very different. Very, very different.
They're laughing because they think, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's a very different organization.
Really?
Yeah, CIA is more like, they're more like a blood mort organization. like the mafia.
Right.
And they're a bad organization. I think they should be abolished completely for what they've done against the American people for so many years. The FBI, on the other hand, it's a bad time to be a former FBI agent. It's a really bad time.
Yeah, you think?
It really is. And the only thing worse than being a former FBI agent right now is being a current FBI agent right now, because I've got the messages on my phone to prove it. These guys are desperate. They can't do their job, and it's a really bad time for them. And ladies, it's terrible time for them because of what's going on with the corruption at the FBI and Department of Justice. And it's a terrible situation. And I look forward to when that whole top layer of the FBI and the Department of Justice are completely removed and excised.
Fair enough. Today, it's Friday, first day of this huge conference. There's probably about 2,000-3,000 people here today, and we're going to, hit some astronomical numbers over the next couple of days. What I want to know, are any of your friends here? Are there feds attending this conference?
Well,
yes or no?
Possibly.
Okay. So how do we spot a fed?
It's always the person that you least expect.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I look fed-ish, right? Yeah, who'd
I'm
you
looking
point
at
at?
her.
I could be a fed, but look at Cortana. She's straight fed.
There you
right?
go. Because nobody would expect it.
She's straight fed. Where's Jake Tarrant? Jake Tarrant, 16 years old, fed. Right there. There's your guy.
There you go.
But yeah, so if you look fed, you're probably not. Yeah. Right? Am I right about that?
I think so, yeah.
And before I let you guys go, what are you going to be speaking about this weekend? This is your second year here. Again, watching everybody's reaction to you, for some reason, you've developed trust in an audience that trust is the last thing we do with any three-letter agency, right? That's earned.
Absolutely.
And it seems that you've done that with this community.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. All right?
Thanks, man.
Okay. What are you going to be speaking about this weekend?
I'm doing presentations on real disclosure continued and what that really means, because we're living in a time of massive psychological operations that are trying to herd us in a certain direction, and we need to help each other with finding out what real disclosure is, what it really means, what real evidence is, what real proof is, and what things are authentic. And that's what I try to teach people everywhere I go, because people don't know what real evidence is and what it means. It's not just stuff that you throw into a test tube and give to a bunch of scientists in lab coats, because guess what? The scientists, mainstream scientists, are never going to get you to the truth at all. And their laboratories are never going to get us to the truth at all. And that's been demonstrated to me very, very clearly over and over again.
Thank you, John. Thank you. John DeSouza. And check out his workshop on Monday, How to Spot a Fed. And John DeSouza, you're the best, man. Thank you so much. Jason, what are you going to be talking about this weekend?
Basically the evolution of human potential, where we're heading, the awakening experiences, outer body experiences, and also my take on the whole alien experience, what I believe is a multidimensional thing, and also previous civilizations evolving, and they're still here on different planes of existence, so we're going to get into some really weird topics.
You're the best, man. Jason Quitt, John DeSouza, please give it up. Now, keep the applause going, because coming up, go ahead. Coming up to the stage, Dr. Robert Schoch in the house right there. And what I would like to do, really quick, Bobby Schoch. How are you, man? How are you? Everything good? You know what I would like to do, if you guys don't mind? I want to ask Kerr Smith to come up to the mics. Come on, Kerr. Kerr Smith. Wow, they haven't screamed like that for you in years. No, that's Kerr Smith. How cool. Oh, Freddy Silva is here. Freddy, just pull up. No, Kerr, you stay right there. Stay right there. Freddy's late, and I bring up actor Kerr Smith. He's better looking. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just putting the mic close up to me. I'm not going to respond to that at all.
Oh, man. Let's start over
it's
here.
It's not the age, it's the mileage.
Thank you, Freddy. Thank you. I want to start with you, Robert. This is, and I want to just recognize John Anthony West. It's the first year that he's not here with us, and I'm really bummed. He was your partner and research and family member for such a long time. And how are you doing today? Jump up on the mic.
I'm doing fine, I think. But I started to. No, I think I held it together. I don't know if people here heard my presentation earlier today, my lecture on John Anthony West. I gave a tribute for him. I was worried that might start breaking up emotionally, but I held it together. I got through it, and I hope people enjoyed it. But yeah, we miss him dearly.
Right.
He died, as you know, February 6th this year from cancer.
It was an unbelievable day for the both of us and for everybody else that as the news broke, and you and I were talking on the phone, and for a while that
right. You wanted to confirm with me that it was absolutely true.
That was a rough day, and
it was a very rough day. But as I pointed out, look, what did he work on? He worked on the Sphinx. The Sphinx is probably the best-known statue on Earth. The Sphinx is as eternal as anything is going to be on Earth that's human-made. His name is forever joined to the Sphinx. So he's going to be remembered a very, very long time.
Now, can I ask you to pull your chair forward like 3 inches?
Sure. There we go. Okay.
There, see?
There we go.
Okay. It is very rare on this planet to change the world. We all dream about it. We want to change the world. We want to change it. You and Jaws, you friggin' changed the world, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I know he appreciates that because he actually wanted to change the world. He wanted to bring us out of our slumber. He wanted to be, and he loved to say this sometimes, he wanted to be the little boy that said the emperor has no clothes.
Right.
More or less that. Our society is not the best, not the greatest. There are problems with it. There are flaws with it. As he liked to say, we're a lunatic asylum when it comes right down to it. I mean, the emphasis of values that this modern society puts on things.
I want this to be personal, okay? I want you to take it this way. What does it feel like? When you do something that huge that is potentially should rewrite everything, does it feel like you changed the world? I mean, do you get up in the morning and wear a Superman cape? And I mean, does it feel that way?
No, actually, you want a truthful answer?
I do want the truthful answer.
No, a truthful answer is, for me personally, because I'm an academic, I am trained, I've got a PhD in geology and geophysics, I teach at Boston University.
Harvard, Yale.
Yale.
I'm just kidding.
Yale.
Yeah. But
I went to Yale.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, the bottom line is, or not, I shouldn't say bottom line, but truthfully for me, I and John Anthony West took these things very differently.
Right.
He loved all the controversy. He loved being attacked and attacking back. He was a writer, a satirist. He loved all that back and forth. It didn't faze him whatsoever when the critics went after us, when the quackademics, as he liked, you know the term.
Yes.
He loved to call the conventional academics the quackademics, and they would attack us, and he would attack back. And for me, it's a bit different. You know, it's been tough having to deal with all this. So, yeah, maybe we're changing the world, but you pay a price sometimes too.
Man, you make me smile. You just do. Dr. Robert Schoch. Unbelievable what he has done for this community.
Thank you.
Kerr Smith. Pull up the microphone, Kerr. You can, yeah, absolutely. Kerr Smith. Now, Kerr.
Jimmy.
Successful actor. multiple television series. Now you're a fully woke dude hanging out at Contact in the Desert with all these crazy people. Welcome.
It's your fault, man.
Unbelievable, man. Is this the best community in the world? And
it is. I mean, I'm having a great time ever since you kind of threw me into this chaos back in February on this show.
He announced his coming out of the closet, of all places, Coast to Coast AM.
And 3 days later, was it before Fade to Black? Or?
Yeah.
It was before.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. And you've hit the ground running, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got me started. I'm doing a lecture on the Law 1 in Columbia, Maryland, July 2nd. It's my first gig, so I'm pretty excited about it.
So when you come out of the closet, you just go.
You go big, man. You go big or you go home.
You go big. I was just talking to Michael Mazzola about this earlier, and about how Hollywood looks. It's one thing to have the alien invasion film, right? Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Transformers, Independence Day. We can go on and on with all of that. It's a whole other thing to deal with consciousness, and as an actor, to come out publicly about this too as well. Is Hollywood okay with that? Are they okay with you?
If you don't see me on the television again, you know the answer to that.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So apparently you don't care.
I don't care. I mean, this is important to me. I've been in the closet on this stuff for a very long time, and I just thought it was time to, start talking about it and help with disclosure, help with consciousness, and, do the best I can.
Before I get to Freddy, I just have to ask, did your agent go, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I didn't tell my agent. She still doesn't know. Manager knows.
Oh, man. Did they hear you on Coast to Coast that night? Or did you tell them after the fact? I mean, because then they would have said no, you think? Giving you some advice?
I don't think they would have said no. No, they let me do whatever I want to do, basically. But, yeah, my manager was like, just be careful what you say. Back up what you think, and I never say this is how it is. I say this is what I believe.
Right. And really fast, if you can, yeah. What happened? What happened in your life that you just drive off the road like you just did?
Well, Dawson's Creek, there wasn't a bunch of kids from Boston. We were all aliens. You didn't know that?
I knew it.
We were all from Mars.
I knew it. No, but seriously, what happened?
It nothing specific. It was just a long process of things ain't right on this planet.
They're not.
They're not right. And I realized at a very young age, and I just started doing a lot of research, like we all have.
Right.
And I started to see some patterns in consciousness, and there's a huge alien involvement. And I've been following the work of Dave Wilcock and Corey and Emery a lot, very closely, and I think they're really onto something.
Wow, unbelievable. Kerr Smith, how cool is that, right? Thank you, Kerr. Seriously, thank you for being here. Freddy Silva. Freddy, everybody, give it. Freddy Silva, here.
Hello.
Unbelievable.
Well, thank you.
Now, Freddy, you and I were talking earlier, and I want you to expand on this for the audience. You and I had said that, and I was kind of loose with my language when I said that.
I'll tell you what I said later.
But I dig what you're doing. I dig it. It's fresh. It's a fresh thing to do. But your response was, and you brought up Robert Schoch, you brought up John Anthony West, and we talked about Graham
It makes
Hancock.
me look a lot better.
Well, yeah. Right. And the point being that the alternative community has brought all of these ideas together, and we're learning from each other. We're pushing this forward. And the man is going to get pushed aside eventually, and I really thought that approach from you, realizing that that's exactly what's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a pooling of resources, isn't it? I think we're all beginning to realize that the information that we were given when we were younger, I mean, I'm going to speak for myself in a situation where I was having dinner with my partner, and I thought, one of the first books I ever read was Eric von Daniken, Chariots of the Gods. I was a wee little nipper in London at the time. And I remember going to religious education class in the afternoon, Thursday, the whole afternoon, religious education. Haven't forgotten it.
Right.
And we're talking about the parting of the Red Sea. It's like, Silva, miss, yes, I understand that the Red Sea was parted by aliens. Detention.
Yeah, right.
I knew then that Catholic school was not for me. So Eric shaped my life in ways you'll not believe. And it kind of helped me sort of wake up to the fact that perhaps things are not quite the way that they're being, the way that we perceive them or the way we taught them, and not the way they really are. And it kind of set me on a treadmill where I sort of began to realize, well, what if we question this, that, and the other? And based from my personal experiences, well, actually, this doesn't add up. And this is what we're all doing.
Right.
We're just asking honest questions and saying, does the evidence stack up? And if it doesn't, then why doesn't it stack up? And where can we find the facts to fit something that fits a new paradigm? And that's all we're doing, and hopefully doing it well and doing it also with a bit of humor.
Why do you... Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you think it seems... Well, I think the evidence bears this out, but that we knew about consciousness at one point, a few thousand years ago. We understand how to communicate. We understood about emotions and brother and love and sister and humanity. And we just let it all go. And today we're trying to get it back. And now us, this room, we're trying to show the rest of the world what we already knew.
Yeah.
But we went through this 2,000 years of amnesia.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, it goes up and down. I mean, the more I look into ancient civilizations and cultures, the more it begins to dawn on me that we go through this process again and again and again and again. It's a very repetitive cycle.
I'm tired of doing it.
Well, you chose to incarnate in this lifetime, as did I. That's the trick.
Right.
And you see, I'm slowly coming around to the belief that we basically, and a lot of my personal friends are highly regarded psychics and trance mediums. They actually help the police with their work. And I get a lot of information from the groups that I attend, and we ask questions and so forth. And it seems to me that people are brought into the consciousness at the right time because, yes, we do go through these processes of incredible enlightenment, but that in itself, even as a physicist will tell you, will create its immediate backlash. And that's the whole purpose of being here on Earth. It's an experimental way station in the universe where we, take down our soul and we condense it, we come down into a physical body, and we say, right, I'm going to be part of this play. So right now in the year 17, 18?
18 last time I checked.
I forgot after I was 50. I just lost track of it. Basically we said, right, some of us are going to be enablers. We're going to start bringing out the truth, and we start going to poke our fingers into, hollowed cows and find out actually the foundation on which these truths are built are not really quite solid. And then other of us are going to be the antagonists. It's part of a big play. And I think Shakespeare actually had it right a long time ago when he talked about how all the world's a stage and we are the players. Right. I think he was actually very on with a very new age topic right there, because we are sort of coming out.
He's talking about the Matrix, man.
Yeah,
if you think about it, if you really think it was a recognition of something very visionary.
Oh, absolutely.
That it's quite possibly a binary world, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think they've recognized also that the whole thing is, the whole experience of being here on Earth is very, it's a personal experience, but you're caught up in a communal experience at the same time. And we go through peaks and troughs. It's like dating the pyramids. I mean, yes, you can say that the initial foundation for the temple was in 10,500. And yet, if you go to the Yucatan and they'll say, well, because everything's aligned to specific stars and specific purposes, every 2,000 years things go out of alignment, but the temple's not in alignment, so let's rebuild it. And we keep rebuilding it and adding it. And between those moments of rebuilding, we go into a dark stage of the soul, and then we pick it up again. And it's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always going to be. And the whole point is because we come here to search for enlightenment and perfection of the soul. I mean, if we were perfect, we wouldn't come here at all.
I'm going to go on the record. I think everybody here at this conference, you are the one I want to sit down and have a bottle of wine and eat a dinner and just listen to you talk for about 3 hours.
With a couple of Fender Stratocasters.
You know what? Let's do it. Freddy Silva, Kerr Smith, Dr. Robert Schoch, three of the greatest right here. This is Contact in the Desert. Thank you so much. Dr. Robert Schoch, Kerr Smith. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Freddy Silva, Contact in the Desert 2018. This is Fade to Black. I'm going to take a little break. You guys with me? Let's go.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, Contact in the Desert 2018. Let's go. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, the Planet. I want to welcome everybody listening all around the world. We're live from Palm Springs, California, an amazing event. And if you've never been to Contact in the Desert, you need to come out and see what it's like to hang out with 5,000 crazy cool people, because it's all going down right here, right now. And I would like to welcome to the stage. Now, coming up, you just saw Linda Moulton Howe just walked in the room. She will be joining us in a little bit. Travis Walton's going to be here. Stephen Bassett, Richard Dolan's coming up. Giorgio Tsoukalos, and Eric Von Daniken. How cool is that? Yeah, right? But right now, the tallest man in the conspiracy world, Brad Olsen. Give it up for Brad Olsen. And from Gaia, one of our good friends, Sid Goldberg is here. Say hi to Sid. Now, okay, all right. Let's just go here. You know, you're one tall drink of water, right?
You bring that up every time.
It's because you are. And welcome once again here to Contact in the Desert. I want to ask you this, Brad. With everything this community was woken up on December 16th, 2017. Mass media coverage of everything, and the UFO disclosure question seemed to be right here, right now. But you're a publisher, you're a writer, and your thing is things are never what they seem. Things are never what they seem. Conspiracy is the new normal. And now we have this disclosure apparently coming out, and the Pentagon potentially is involved. Do we trust what's really going on, and is this disclosure?
Well, we've always said disclosure comes from the ground up. It's gonna be all of us who force the issue, and it always has been all of us. We're not going to hold our breath and think that the government's just going to tell us what we already know from conferences like this. And we're getting little drips here and there. My talk tomorrow is about the giants, forbidden archaeology and prehistory. So much has been kept from us, and only now is it all starting to come out. And I think it's up to all the great speakers here and you guys giving us support and putting this all together and looking at the new paradigm, or what I call the alternative narrative. This is a new way of putting all the pieces together with UFO research, prehistory. Gaia TV does such a fantastic job bringing these shows to the fore and giving us a new perspective of the world the way it really is.
Why is it that it seems that we are being asked to, I'm trying to be kind here, to trust the Pentagon, to trust the DOD. Now they are our friends. They're releasing videos. They're releasing documents. The FAA last 2 months has released these recordings of sightings from F-18s and from a Learjet and a commercial aircraft near Tucson, Arizona. Wait a minute here. Trust is earned, right? Is this a situation where we need to just accept the Department of Defense and what is going on?
Well, we talked about it for 3 hours on Fade to Black a couple years ago with the whole Tom DeLonge disclosure and poking holes in the whole Pentagon coming out front page of the New York Times.
Right.
And it's propaganda, people. We know that, but it's the drip. They're giving us little bits. That's all we're allowed to know. According to them, they're hoarding the knowledge, but that dam is about to break.
Right.
And the flood waters are flowing over the top through the holes. They can't put their finger in the dike anymore like the little Dutch boy anymore. It's not going to work.
Right. And Sid Goldberg, everybody. Thank you, Brett. Sid Goldberg. Sid, you're an award-winning director, writer, film, television, all of those things. Now you're over at Gaia. You have the best talent over there. You are part of a multimedia world presenting information, critical stuff. Not only ideas, but now you are breaking news. You guys are part of the news, something that I've been doing for a while now too. Should we trust? You are part of the mass media. Should we trust the mass media, and why this sudden openness to the UFO question?
I don't think it's a question of trusting
Pull the microphone up to you. There.
I don't think it's a question of trusting the mass media. It's more a question of what resonates best with you.
Right.
And that we trust.
Well, how should we, okay, so how should we use that discernment? How should we figure this out for ourselves?
I've always been like a media hound, and I grew up watching it and ingesting it and absorbing it. And when you take in enough variety of it, your pointer will point north when you feel it. And I think when there is conscious media, whether it comes from Gaia and the kind of programming offered there, and the disclosure people who are involved with that, as well as the transformation people who are talking about consciousness and how to elevate it yourself, that's nothing that you're going to get fooled about. Specific information, whether it's from the Secret Space Program and insiders who are sharing their stories, some of them, it's fascinating. Some of them, I think, can open up and share what they can because they just do. Other people may have controlled amounts of information that they're comfortable with from what they've experienced. And I think it's all genuine, but everyone is acting within the parameters of their comfort zone. And that's what always seems like there could be more. And for other people, it's like, this is as far as I can go.
Right. So, well, Micah Mazzola was here earlier, director, right? Sony Pictures and The Orchard, incredible. Great opportunities are in front of him. Kerr Smith was just here. He's somebody else that not only a successful actor, but has been dealing with Hollywood in a very direct fashion for a long time. You've been doing the same thing. It seems to me like there's this openness right now from Hollywood to present it from another side that didn't happen before. What do you think is going on here, and do you think it's something else that we should trust?
I think more and more people are just becoming aware. And whether they're in Hollywood, whether they're in television, in the press, or they're, your chartered accountant, as we bring more awareness on any topic, but especially topics that deal with what is my truth, what's the truth of everything.
Right.
People are connecting and awakening to that, and the more they hear that, the more they want to ingest. So I think it's just an overall truth movement that whether you're a yogi into meditation,
right,
or just look at the whole pathway of the UFO world. Before, we only used to want to talk about craft that were flying and lights in the sky, and then after a decade or so, people start talking about the consciousness or intelligence that are actually flying and controlling the craft. And then it's like we moved the craft right out of the scene, and the discussion is going through portals of consciousness and entering different dimensions.
Right.
And now it's just like, hey, I can go there in my consciousness, which is where the yogis were, 7,000 years ago when they were writing the Vedas.
Does that explain the success of things like Gaia, where the amount of people, you can go with Ancient Aliens, and you could talk about these different projects that have been hugely successful. Is it because, we're talking to Billy Carson earlier, 3 million followers for Forbidden Knowledge. That's insane numbers of truth seekers out there. Does that help explain some of this?
I think that's what we all wanted, but we just never got it. We heard stories about how people went to after-school religious education, voiced a question that was outside of a very limited way of thinking, and they got rejected for it.
What's going on next door?
Sounds like Emery Smith.
That's absolutely incredible. Is it time for Emery? Is that what that is? Bringing the house down. It's Conscious Life Expo, a Conscious Life, Contact in the Desert. Contact in the Desert, right next door to us. We've got a 1,200-seat room that is packed to the rafters, and we're packed in here, standing room only, too, as well. And back to the point, everybody is starving for this knowledge, right?
Absolutely.
And what about, Brad, with you and in the publishing business, it's the same thing, isn't it?
It's going gangbusters.
Right.
People ask me all the time if I have the traction to do another book. I can't right now. I'm just so busy with what I've got and the authors I'm working with, and we can't get it out there fast enough. This is information. is just going over very well with a very informed audience. And let's face it, I wouldn't want to publish a book that I wouldn't want to own myself or be proud that any of my friends own. So you always got to put out the best information you possibly can, and it just walks on its own legs after that. So it's a great time to be in publishing and broadcasting and TV and movies and all of this, because we are articulating the most complex subject there is on Earth, and in my opinion, the most important subject there is on Earth. So to have any kind of say in this matter and to be one of those who has this great honor of being in front of the microphone and helping articulate this is it, you guys. We are on the cutting edge. This is the very tip of the iceberg that it's going to flow over all of humanity in time. And thank you, Jimmy,
thank you.
Being the
Thank
MC.
you, Brad Olsen, Sid Goldberg, give it up, please. Thank you both so much for everything that you do.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Keep the applause going, because coming up right now, Linda Moulton Howe and Richard Dolan coming up to the stage. Come on, Linda. Come on, young lady.
Get him up here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Check these two out right here. Look at that. Linda Moulton Howe, Richard Dolan, welcome. Come on up. Unbelievable. How are you?
Good.
Here, just right here in front of everybody. Linda Moulton Howe.
Oh, thank you. You look good.
Richard Bleepin' Dolan, everybody.
Hello.
Linda, hold on. I'm gonna go first with Richard. Richard, do you ever get tired of hearing Richard Bleepin' Dolan?
No, not yet.
No.
Not yet.
I mean, it's affection, right? It's okay.
Oh, it's fine.
I've
been called much worse.
Well, who said it first? Was it you or me?
No, it was you, Jimmy.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't say that kind of thing first. That's yours.
Okay, all right.
You can
Thank
have
you
that.
for that. I remember it differently.
All right, well, that's good.
Linda Moulton Howe, I'm going to, right now, you have the most energy probably in this entire building. You have been doing this for such a long time, but that's not even the point. How do you continue? You've never given up the fight. You've certainly had the opportunity to go, you know what, I've had enough, right? But here you are again. Next, we're broadcasting live once again. Contact in the Desert, and here you are. What's the deal, man? How do you do it? I want the secret.
You just heard Brad say this is the biggest and most important of everything on the planet. It is the history of the planet. It is the essence of why. When Ingo Swann had a book that called it The Haunted Planet.
Right.
We are at the, as everybody keeps using the words, this is a revolutionary time where it feels like it is about to break some of the cement.
Have you ever felt it quite like this? And
No.
you've been on, you've had a few different moments, right?
40 years.
Has it ever been like this?
No. And that, 40 years of trying to answer. And when you say, why would you ever give up? I would never, ever let go of any of this. This is one of those to your last breath,
Right.
is the feeling to me. Because it's not just about confirmation that we're not alone in the universe. This whole huge story, and everybody here, these fantastic audiences, you are people who are getting the fact that this is boiling down to what are we? What are Homo sapiens sapien in an evolution in which it's very clear from documents and people who are whistleblowers?
Close quote.
That
I just had to say.
Extraterrestrial biological entities
Yes.
manipulated DNA in already evolving primates. And that is the whole truth of the evolution of this current round of humanity. But the story now, to me, is even bigger in this regard. We have always been taught that we are the intelligent life form and that the universe was empty. And yet what the truth is, this is just the latest round of humanoid intelligence. I think the truth is that for 270 million or a billion years, there have been cycles of various life forms that have been on this planet, have terraformed, have used it. And this is why the discovery of where things are in Antarctica, the backside of the moon, on Mars, and beyond is now not science fiction. This is part of the fabric, again, of what solar system are we in? What type of planet are we in?
Right.
I am convinced from some people that have given me some hard physics that really the truth about the moon is it was placed here for a very specific reason. So not only are we in this digging into what are we in relationship to other life in the universe, it is what is the reality behind science if there is a whole other story that comes through people who have been exposed in MJ-12 and the government.
Right.
And we have scientists who are going to have their whole careers jeopardized if they are told, no, here's what really happened.
Right.
And our science didn't discover it. These are the kinds of things that have kept this suppressed. But right now, I don't think that there's any possibility that we're going to keep going forward for another long gap without getting some confirmation that we're not alone. We have to get that much. And if December 16th, above the fold, the New York Times, if that had been followed in the next week or the next month with somebody who, there was real chain of custody, and they did it right, and it was all revealed, and the pilots who were coming to me saying, wow, now I'm going to start taking this more seriously. They would have had inertia that would have carried, and I would wager that Contact sitting here, if they had kept the drumbeat,
kept the foot on the gas,
that we would have the headlines already, we're not alone in the universe. And it doesn't mean that we have all the answers, but to realize how schizophrenic the situation is. You've got World War II, everything going underground. The biggest research is underground, the most important stuff is underground, and that means that metaphorically and physically, you have a surface of the earth that is largely innocent, and you have a huge underground structure that has the money, the control, and that what we are beginning to see and what may be cracking a bit is that the innocence of the planet were purposely kept out of the knowledge, therefore in the dark. They're the innocent ones. And that the 1%, how did they get that much control? It's because they put everything that was important underground. So none of us have had any interaction with what is underground. And in fact, one of the ironies about being in Indian Wells, California, for this contact, when you think back after World War II, the government was running scared. They really weren't sure what they had on their hands. And they knew they had to go underground. How were they going to have the United States of America and do all of the stuff that they wanted to do with craft crashing if they didn't take everything underground? Area 51, Area 29, and
that's
on
right,
and on.
That's right.
And with this much underground, we're now at this juncture where in Indian Wells, Tonopah, Area 51, China Lake, they're all underground, huge, complex facilities. A man told me just a month or so ago, he said, I just want you to know, I worked underground at Area 51, and I want you to know that I went on those subways that we could go. He said, I went all the way to White Sands. That's 850 miles. And that means then, and I think that Emory and those guys are talking about spider webs of underground, all connected. And so the revolution is not just that we have to get that headline, we're not alone in the universe. The revolution is, what are we going forward? If the reality is that we have a surface life and then we have a tremendous underground that has all the secrets, and that this planet of humans has got to come to terms. You can get out, we're not alone, but it's got to go further. They've got to start telling the truth, because I don't see how a schizophrenic planet like this, run by lies to the innocent, can continue into the future and survive. And I really do think that it is this critical that this whole planet be told the truth.
Linda Moulton Howe. Oh, and I'm just sitting here. I'm just done. I'm cool. Richard, do you want to follow that with anything?
Well, I agree with a lot of what Linda just said there. I mean, the idea of underground bases, I think we've had that established for a long, long, long time. So the technology has been there for decades and decades. Good studies have been done on it. There's no question that we have a labyrinthian empire of underground tunnels and bases that they could be right under your feet right now or anywhere in the world, for all we know. And the technology, money, desire has always been there. Relating to some of the other things, where do I begin? I agree with Linda. I think this is an incredible time to be doing the work that we do. I feel just as energized as Linda does.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
I feel like it's so funny. I think, you've been doing this 40 years, me not as much, but 25. I've thrown myself into it. And like you, I had that moment where I had to leave, the little cocoon of the world that I thought I was going to be in. Yours was journalism, media. Mine was academia, and I thought, this is what I want to do. And then there was that day when I thought, no, I'm not going to. And it was this moment of being cut loose and being a little bit afraid. Where will I go? How will I support myself? And what I've discovered in these 25 years has been the most amazing ride possible. And the tearing away of the veils is really the thing that never stops. I've mentioned this probably to you, but it's like I wish it were as easy as in The Matrix, where I take one red pill. One red pill, that would be great. Then everything is revealed, but it's not that easy. Like you research and you realize, wow, that little thing is actually true. Oh my God, there goes one layer of illusion. And then another 3-4 months later, you're like, oh wait, but there's this other one, and you just keep going.
Right.
And it has not stopped in 25 years for me, nor I'm sure for Linda, nor for anyone else who's doing this. And that's the amazing thing. I read a quote by the late John Mack, where he said, the process of real personal growth is the process of shedding those illusions, but that's painful, because you get attached to those illusions you are raised with. You want to keep them. But the fact is that no matter who you are on this planet, you've been born into a situation where, and it's not your parents' fault. They're doing the best they can do. But you're born into a situation where there's one illusion after another around you, and your job for real personal growth is to go through the painful process of shedding them about your society and about yourself.
And what's great now? No, hold on, Linda. Hold on. Is that the three of us are all on the same radio network, right? We speak to audiences and we get that feedback directly right now. But is this about as exciting of a time? Have you ever, Richard, through the writing, and you were hoping these days would come, does it feel like this is what is happening, or is it something else?
I like to stay as calm as I can, and even in crazy times. I don't like to lose it. But I do think there's been a real... I don't like to be that way. I like to sort of hold back, take my time before I make a decision. But I think that we're in a rapidly escalating era. I really do. And I think we're getting to a point where there could be a critical mass of some sort. So whether that's cultural, whether that's the drip of new information. Linda mentioned the New York Times piece. I just want to add to that. I think that, as I think I said to you in one of our interviews, I look at that as actually a kind of a damage control, and I'm still seeing it that way. I don't ever think anything coming out of the New York Times ever is to be trusted, ever. and I mean ever.
You mean ever?
I mean ever. Like the New York Times
what do you,
is, these are the people who lied about the weapons of mass destruction. They lied about every single international thing you can imagine. They work for the national security establishment. That's all they do. They were intimately involved in Operation Mockingbird to lie to the people during the Cold War. Never stopped. So when they publish a piece, two good pieces, pretty good pieces on UFOs, like, wow, in December you wonder, is this disclosure? And I asked myself that question many, many times, and my conclusion is no, a little bit, yes, but no. And by that I simply mean this information about the ATIP program and the Fravor UFO encounter and these others they were making the rounds. They were being discussed. And the only question was, how were they going to break? How were they going to come out in a big way? Were they going to come out in an unmanageable way or not? My opinion is that the New York Times, and really above them, saw this, and they said, you're going to get out in front of this, you're going to control the spin. And what happened after that? A little bit of mainstream media follow-up, and then nothing. And certainly no real journalistic investigation and follow-up, like the kind that independent researchers are doing right now. Like there's people around the world who are seriously investigating what happened on the Nimitz and the Princeton in 2004, and are seriously investigating a lot of the other details of the ATIP program, or if it had a different name, or whatever it was, but not from the New York Times, not from the mainstream media. So to me, that means that was not a serious effort on their part. I think it was a form of damage control, cauterize the wound. You give up as much information as is necessary. So what that tells me is that on our side, we've got this massive wave of collaboration, of information, of communication that's coming out. That's pushing this information in one way. On the other side are still those individuals who are insistently determined to control that information. It's like they'll give up the truth. You'll have to pry it out of their cold, dead fingers. Right. And that's really how it is. So they'll hold on to it as long as possible. So, and in that situation, by the way, I would just put out this little suggestion that there will be a lot of disinformation plied into our field. And by disinformation, that's not the same as lies. That's information that has truth to it, but that's also unbelievable, literally in certain various ways, that makes it difficult for us to move forward. So that means whistleblowers, in air quotes, and other kinds of individuals will come out with information that is literally impossible to confirm one way or the other, and that will have us running around in circles. And I think that's a big part of what's going on in our field as well.
I need to jump in. Just to let you both know, I just blew through a commercial break, and Race Hobbs is freaking right now. But
are you kidding? Race Hobbs is doing somersaults in his mind. He is like very happy.
Let me just put up on the chessboard one more thing.
Sure.
I don't think we're talking enough about this particular part. We don't know how much of the policy of denial and secrecy is under the direct control of the non-humans. That it appears through centuries that the non-humans in their interaction with humans on this planet have always acted by controlling through policies of lies and denial. So it is possible that in this equation right now, this revolutionary fever that we're feeling, and we've always felt that the government was the one between us and the truth. But I've come to suspect, through people I've interviewed with the human abduction syndrome, that there are a lot of other intelligences that do not want humanity to understand what is going on. That includes harvesting of this planet for a very long time in many levels. And to tell the whole truth, we're going to have to deal with what is the real relationship between the non-humans and this planet. And to just give you one tiny insight that goes back about 15 years ago, I have had this happen about half a dozen times of people that I have met that are in the whistleblower category. And one of them had said, just look in holidays for a card. I will try to keep you apprised through holidays. That's when it's harder to keep track of what's going on in the mail. And I got a Christmas card. And at the top of the Christmas card inside, on the left side, it said, "The Ebens, all caps, E-B-E-N, plural, are our allies, ... through the fold of the card." And on the right side, it says, "But they lie."
We're going to have to leave it there, Linda. That's crazy and chilling at the same
true.
time.
It's like
I know,
Linda's
right?
life.
I got the card.
That's Linda's
Linda
life.
Moulton Howe. Richard Bleepin Dolan. Thank you both. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy Church, for Fade to Black.
I agree with you, Linda, by the way, on your last point. Just wanted to say.
My wife. Okay, welcome to the stage. Keep it going right now. Travis Walton. Travis, come on up. Travis. Thank you, Linda. Linda Moulton Howe. I didn't take my selfie. We'll do it later.
Okay.
Travis, come on up, my friend. Travis Walton, please.
Jimmy, how do I follow that?
You don't.
That's fantastic
You wish for the best, right? That's what you do. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Now, you just, I want everybody to know, Travis just did a presentation, and he's done this every year with us now for 5 straight years at Contacting
the second one of the day. So
right, the second one of the day. But he said, I want to come in and hang out with you guys. Travis Walton, please. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you.
First off, I need to thank you for everything and for you hanging in there for so many years. And I know that a lot of those out there want to hear you speak about the story or speak about the experience, and that's one thing, Travis, but it's another thing for you to be out there in support of this community. When we talk about how many years it has been, but you have been there for us for so long. I want to thank you for what you have done for this community, okay? And you don't hear it often enough. Thank you, Travis.
Well, thank you.
How much do you follow UFO news?
Not much. You know what? That surprises people. They think I must be poring over the lore and studying the field in general so much. I've had my hands full dealing with my own experience, and there's so much more to be done. There's a lot of follow-up going on with scientific investigation and validation, and also involving investigating the investigators.
And when you see today the references to interdimensional UFOs or different aspects of how they got here or what the crafts are, how has the UFO experience or experiencer changed with what you went through? Do you see a difference today versus 1975?
Well, you know, a certain amount of, education has occurred in me just by osmosis, just by being around this stuff.
Sure.
I pick up so much insight to things. I used to be extremely skeptical of interdimensional kinds of stuff, time travel and stuff. But, some of the outer limits of physics today, have changed me quite a bit. That the whole idea of time travel and interdimensional may actually be, how they get here by necessity, just because of the amount of distance and time involved.
Right.
So it's really kind of the same thing.
Right, because the craft that you experienced and were on and saw and have talked to us about certainly didn't travel for 10 million years, across the universe. It may have gotten here a different way, and maybe it was just easy for them.
Well, you first have to say, do we accept the galactic speed limit or not?
Right, exactly.
Can something travel faster than light?
Right.
Depends on your definition of travel, If it originates at this point and ends up at this other point in a time frame that, contradicts the idea that it, in Newtonian physics, just,
a straight line.
A straight line
right.
Would be impossible or would imply something flying faster than the speed of light.
Right.
Then of course, it depends on your definition of speed or how you're getting there. If there is a shortcut through space, so to speak, then it doesn't really break the speed limit. It just gets there.
That is such an interesting way to look at it. And do you change your opinion of like the UFO hypothesis in that either they could be coming from inside of this solar system, right? Maybe there's a base on the moon, we don't know, and it's easy for them to get here. Or quite simply, they may just get here in minutes, right? It's not dealing with years. And it may not even be faster than light. It could be that it's just, they figured it out. It just may be easy.
Absolutely. And it could easily be either one or both,
What do you mean?
Either one or both. That they both get here the way you were referring to from out there.
Either one or both. That's really interesting.
And then they could also have bases here too, and kind of be operating from here. We really don't know what's involved in this travel. Is this something that it's as easy as a snap of the fingers? They do it routinely, or does it require a little bit more special preparation and involvement, investment to accomplish it? To where establishing outpost might be something that you would want to add to this travel.
If there is one thing, you're here at Contact in the Desert and you're speaking, you're here tonight. If there's one thing that you would want this community to understand, to wrap their head around when we're talking about contact and communication, certainly with what you went through, but what would that message be?
Well, there's a whole lot of things I would like the community to understand and the world to understand. And one of those is, basically, in every sense, in every situation, get the facts first. People are so eager to form an opinion, form a conclusion, and then gather the facts to support that, rather than look at all the facts you can and see where that leads you, what that leads you to conclude.
Right.
In other words, they get it backwards.
Right. And when we think about things where this is 2018, it's been a long time since your experience, and you are here today still doing just that. The critic side came in 1975, 1976, 1977. It's been a little easier since then, in that it's not the polygraph test, but your experiences they resonate with everybody, and here you are still in 2018 talking to the community.
Battling back against what really amounts to some really fundamental propaganda techniques. What the skeptics are employing in order to, the naysayers and try to discourage belief in the reality of this phenomena is using some really, fundamental scam sort of tricks that are really actually quite effective. Like, for instance, people calling themselves skeptics and with great pride. Don't they understand that to announce that you are a disbeliever and that you're beginning your examination with a prejudice that has nothing to do with being open-minded and an accurate and fair-minded thinking? They're actually confessing to bias before they even begin.
Right.
And the skeptics are constantly using this propaganda technique of equating the unproven as the absolute equivalent of the disproven. And that's not the way it is. And so much of what was even discussed in our earlier show right before I got on is that when we find out that something isn't so, to call that thing a lie. Well, there's lots of ways that something can not be so and not necessarily be a lie. Even the government coming forward and making a pronouncement like, we have not found sufficient evidence to support that. They can say that with all honesty, and they still haven't disproven anything, you know. Failure to affirm is not the same thing as disaffirming. And, you know, these kinds of real fundamental reasoning techniques are something that I believe should be taught in school. It should be a part of public education. If there's any reason for taxpayers to fund the education of the children, and it should be at ground level. The basic idea is to have a population of people capable of critical thinking.
Travis, I want to thank you. Please give it up for Travis Walton. Seriously, your friendship means everything to myself and this community. Travis, listen to that. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Travis Walton. Contact in the Desert 2018. I want to welcome up to the stage Hugh Newman and Jim Viera. Give it up. Right now, nice and loud.
What's up, Jimmy?
Thank you, Travis. Thank you so much. That's an amazing man right there. Travis, yes. Thank you again. Yeah, really. Travis, let me tell you guys something. Travis is sitting, he's not here right now, so I'll say this right now. Travis is sitting right next to me, and he's got the most amazing set of eyes, right? Have you guys had the opportunity to go up and say hello and look into that man's eyes? He's been places. You need to really think about that. That's an incredible, incredible man. Travis Walton. Man, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, man, where do I go? I need Jim Viera. I need Hugh Newman up here.
You got to scrape the bottom,
man. Oh, man. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Now, I need you to speak up in the mic like you mean it.
Yes.
You guys have been doing this for a while, and we were talking earlier before you got here. When it comes to the things that you guys are working on right now, I think it's some of the most suppressed stuff that is out there. When we're talking about giants or megaliths or the United States or these different things around why the deliberate suppression of something that is right here? And in some cases, a very modern phenomenon. It may not even be 10,000 years old or 5,000. It's like right here and now.
Well, I think that, or I know that, in the late 1800s, anthropology and archaeology were being formed, and there was lots of agendas and racist ideas.
Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Hey, Giorgio.
Coming in.
So paradigms are created, and they're very difficult to get past. It's like science versus religion. And, these religious ideas, giants, a great flood, are marginalized. And then you have science step in. But there was a lot of these strange political agendas, racist westward expansion in the United States, dealing with Native Americans. So you ended up with a paradigm, and then you had tenured professors teaching it. Then you had, there wasn't a zealousness to finding out anomalies. And then went on and on and on. And now we know, like, the Clovis Barrier is dead. Out of Africa is dead. They found hobbits in Indonesia. The Denisovans mated with humans, which was an anthropological heresy. So you just see how long these things take. And I work with professionals. I do professional digs. Like I said, I'm the Goodwill ambassador from the Lunatic Fringe. But I just see and understand the academic mind, and I'm really tight with that. And I could just see that it's a way of thinking that is slow to change. It's not like we're taking all this evidence and precluding it. So I try to make reasoned arguments like Travis just did.
Right.
There's a lot of moving the goalposts and marginalization of facts. And, I think the general themes of what everybody is talking about at this conference is accurate. And we are compelled to look like lunatics in the world, which is freaking crazy. You know what I mean? So it's an upside-down thing. And I'm a blue-collar idiot, so I try to, convey a message in a way that maybe people that guy doesn't have an agenda, and he's using academic journals and these historical accounts to prove his case. So that's where I come from. But I know what you're saying, man. It's like it's frustrating, and the truth is upside down in this world. Yeah.
Anybody that says a gender is cool by me, man. So that's working class. Thank you, Jim. Hugh Newman, Jim Viera. Hugh, for this audience and for those listening around the world right now, when we look at, if you were in court, right now, you're in court, and you needed to push that one piece of evidence across the table and say, look, this has been held back, and I need this taught in schools. This is wrong. What would that one piece of evidence be?
Oh my God, there's a lot of pieces of evidence. I think that, as Jim was saying, I think one of the most important and brilliantly covered up subjects is the giant skeletons, especially of North America. Not just because there's one or two of them around and people should know about them, because there's thousands of accounts in academic journals, in the Smithsonian records, and it's been suppressed and removed from the historical books, from academia, from television, from everywhere, so it doesn't exist. And this is one of the things, one of the many things, like we find with the science of the megaliths, the secret astronomy and energies of the megaliths. But you get it with, why are they removing segments of history completely? There's just no need for it. And I think this is something that needs to be addressed, something that needs to be looked at. And I think people need to be named, and people need to kind of share this information. And I bet you there's some skeletons still to be discovered. But why cover it up? What's the big deal? They're just skeletons. They're just like a race of giants. It's not that like that. Well, some of them are horned skulls, but they're not like they're a bunch of demons. It's just a genuine thing. And this is, to me, it's a symbol of the problem. And I think we need to kind of address that.
When I was a kid, I don't know if Jim may remember this. You may, I don't know.
You saying I'm old?
But no, what I'm saying is this is a Chicago thing. And when I was growing up in the early 70s, there was this rumor in Chicago that at the Field Museum, they had a 15-foot skeleton there on display. That was the rumor, and you could go and see it. And then if you go back in the historical record, it's there, right? It's gone. All the modern references to it, I don't know where it is, but this was something that the Field Museum in Chicago was proud of at one point and was there and through the 60s.
I could say that we have records from the Chickasaw Mound in Arkansas by the Field Museum. The anthropologist measured a 28-inch femur, which is like a 9-foot-tall skeleton.
Right.
So it is in the records of the Field Museum.
Right.
Yeah.
But
not 15,
I
but still.
grew up with this, and it was something that was cool. We were okay with it, right? Giorgio, Hugh, can you pass Giorgio the mic? Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Jimmy. May I add something to this?
You may.
We're losing time.
Okay.
So, look, what Hugh just mentioned is very interesting because here we are, 8 years into Ancient Aliens, and the first season that we did on Ancient Aliens, we had a guy on the show that claimed he could bring to us an actual giant bone. And when he showed up, it was a styrofoam replica. And then years later, we met with another guy that told us he has a giant bone, and it was a resin replica. And each time we asked, well, where is the original?
Where's the original, right?
Exactly. They were like, well...
Resin is still cool because
sure.
it's a copy.
But here's the thing,
original?
I just came back from Sardinia, and one of the main reasons why I went to Sardinia with my crew is because, once again, we received information that a person, a scientist in Sardinia, has a giant bone. And he told us in writing that we, for the first time, will be able to test the bone of this giant. 2 days before we arrived, the guy disappeared. So, what I'm trying to say here is that after 8 years of ancient aliens, you should know that we will not turn your results. We will not change the actual status quo. So the fact that no actual giant bones have showed up at our doorstep makes me question the idea of giants. Not that they didn't exist, but why this censorship? What's going on?
Yeah, I know. And it's not like every civilization, every culture on this planet for the last 5,000 years has talked about it, right?
They clearly have.
They clearly have. And there's a statistic about how many people have lived in the last 5,000 years. I forget. It's in the it's a crazy number, right? Well, you can't say that billions of people are crazy, are nuts. That there is something to this, and it's right there.
But this applies also to the audience that we have here. By the way, hello, Federnauts.
Hey, hello, everybody.
How are you?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I love you guys.
Wait a minute, just for me and for them one more time. Say Federnauts.
Federnauts.
He
How are you
says
doing?
it so well.
You know, what you just brought up is essential in the whole question about what it is we're talking about, because clearly many people develop stories to draw attention to themselves. But when you have hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, claiming to have seen UFOs, who is anyone to say that all of them are lying?
Oh, sure. That's right. Yeah.
So, and especially in a setting like this, I always ask people, have you been here before? And whenever somebody says, no, this is my first contact in the desert, my answer is always, welcome home.
Yes.
Because this is one of the settings where you can just speak freely, and we all know people. And if somebody comes up to you and they have a story to relay to you that something happened that was extraordinary to them, having to do with an abduction or an experience, and then they start to tremble, their lips start to tremble, tears may fall down their eyes. Are you telling me that's an act?
That's right.
Those people should all win Oscars if they are acting. And what I'm saying is they are not. It is a genuine experience that they had, and it is one of the most difficult things that they ever had to process in their lives.
Oh, thank you. Look, this is the end of the show, so it's at this point where I get to say, Giorgio, thank you for everything that you've done. Ancient Aliens, you've been with us, you and I together, our friends, our family, a contact in the desert for the last 5 years. It's going to be 6. We've seen this grow. You've been a part of it. Thank you so much. Is this just the best year yet? Is this amazing?
Hey, we're inside.
Yeah, I know. Hugh Newman. Hugh Newman. Thank you, Hugh. Jim Viera here all weekend. Giorgio Tsoukalos. Again, all of you, thank you. Keep applauding. I got to roll credit. Say goodnight, Giorgio. Say goodnight.
Oh, good night, Federnauts. And see you on the flip side.
And that's it. Keep applauding. I'm going to read the credits, and you guys can hear yourselves as I go through all of this. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. Go ahead. Right here.
Game Changer Network and cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Be safe and go Beckley Tepe.
That's what I'm talking about. Gobekli Tepe of everything. Say Puma Punku.
Puma Punku.
Giorgio Tsoukalos. Contact in the Desert 2018. I've been your host, Jimmy Church. Thank you, all of you. Good night.